There's still time.
You said it ain't started yet. All right, so this is episode 101. Welcome back. It's a special day in the city of Detroit. Something good happened.
Finally.
Oh, we really about to have that conversation today. That's what we on today.
Hey, this is the first time in 50 years Detroit done got a number 1 draft pick for basketball.
This is huge news.
This is a storied franchise. Like, I wish I knew the absolute numbers, but there's definitely a correlation between a city's wealth value and number 1 sports picks that become successful. Like for example, when LeBron James went to Cleveland, I think the value of the city went up like several $100 millions for Cleveland.
That's true. That is true.
So like this could be depending on how this plays out and how the franchise goes, because like they have the stadium downtown now, Auntie. You see, it could like get some money.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
In short order.
Sure.
Now, whether that's good or bad for the people who live there, that's yet to be determined. But let's get into it. Let's beer in. Grandpa, what you got today?
I have here platinum. It's like Bud Light platinum.
Oh, he went and got the good stuff.
And it is good.
Okay. Well, Grandpa, he's a repeat offender of Bud Light platinum, so we already know how that's going to go.
I'm going to give it a little rating here.
Okay.
Yeah, same as before. It's a 6 to start with.
Well, Keith, you're the guest today. I'm not sure if you got any libations to drink, but introduce yourself, man, and give a little blurb of who you are.
Hey, my name is Keith Tunstall. I'm out here in Mount Morris, Michigan, just outside of Flint, Michigan. Yeah, and I'm about, I'm over 50 years old. I'm gonna say it like that. I'm over 50. And this I got 2 boys that go to Saginaw Valley State at the ages of 20 and 23. I'm married, been married for about over 25 years. Hey, just living life. I work at an adult group home for the NGRI. It's called Not Guilty with Reasons for Insanity. So I got to deal with a bunch of, some people, special people. I got to keep people, off the streets to help you guys, make sure everybody walk the streets safe and sound. I got, and then at the same time, I like football, little sports. I'm especially a football fan, but I also coach football as well. I coach at Carmen Ainsworth. I go in between Carmen Ainsworth and Flint Beecher. It depends on the need and what's going on with the kids. I sometimes go over there and make sure everything's all right as far as the well-being of the programs. I'm trying to be the guy under the scene who's keep Flint on the map before sports-wise. Basketball, Flint can handle their own, but football, we gotta make sure that we stay in everybody's mindset. And I'm trying to do that. I work behind the scenes on helping some of the kids get recruited. I help some of the kids get noticed. I send them some kids who need notoriety. I send them over to Win Stars out in Detroit, or I send them out in the 475 group out here. And hopefully they keep them going and keep them motivated. They still keep striving to be the best as far as staying top 10 or top 5 in their recruiting, their position for a football recruit, as well as keeping themselves eligible academically and making sure that they all right mentally. Some people, kids today, they go through stuff as far as family. Family got family infighting, jealousy in the family. You got family issues. We always have that crazy uncle, a crazy cousin that keeps them distracted and keep them in the streets. So my job is it's not a job. I like to mentor them to keep them off the streets so they can stay safe. And I don't want nobody getting caught up like in trouble or to catch that ultimate dirt nap. As far as death. Keep them off the streets so they won't die on us, and so they can live a good life and be a good citizen of the community of the United States.
That's pretty awesome, Keith. I know you do all that. No, you're being a little humble right now. He's also the former mayor of Flint. So
No, I'm not. It's not. They can't blame that on me. Hey, I'm not taking that blame.
Auntie, what you got today?
So today we have a local beer by a brewery called 18th Street, and the name of it is Sex and Candy. Yes,
I got the same one.
yeah. It's
This
just
is she left out the most important detail. 18th Street Brewery is black owned.
Okay.
And if you make it out, it's in Gary, Indiana. They have a fire kitchen. Like their kitchen is the truth. So it's really good food and really good beer as well. And it's black owned, right?
Okay.
Well, and when my uncle said make it out, he doesn't mean make it out your circumstances. He means actually go visit something. So, you know,
make it out your circumstances too, but go get some beer.
I got this was given to me. This was it's called Ransack Universe Indian Pale Ale. It's 6.8% alcohol, and it's West Coast style hops and Galaxy Mosaic unfiltered. I'm trying to find the art, and the art style of the can is from a dude, and it's all in the can. John Malkovich or whatever from Toronto, Canada. So this is this is an Indian Pale Ale. So I'm not sure how highly I'm going to rate it because I don't really like those, but we gotta rate every beer.
Okay.
You've been on the road. You like the last one,
800?
Huh?
You like the last one.
Old Eagles 800.
Old English 800. I think we actually did the episode like a year and a half ago. Me and Grandpa, when we did our 40-ounce series.
That was back in my day. Ice Cube and NWA day. That's when I drank that stuff when I was in college. Ooh, that stuff tore my insides up.
So yeah.
Let me see. It smells good. It kind of smells like peaches a little bit.
Okay.
So I'm gonna give it a 5 pre-rated.
Yeah, I start with a 6.
yeah. That's our goal 6.
This might require a second sip. Okay. This is
Light refreshing.
It's better than I thought it would be. I'm gonna give it a 6.25.
I'm starting to think you like IPAs.
I don't know, man. Maybe that's what happened when you become a parent. You become more of an IPA drinker. That's
Now that's true.
Slow. And once you go back to grandpa's age, you become a grandparent, you switch back to not liking them. I don't know.
Hey.
I'll get that one a 6.5. It's solid. I could drink
it's solid. It's a lighter beer. I feel like it's only like 6% ABV.
7.5.
7.5. Oh, I'm shocked.
Oh, 7.5. That's what you're drinking, Crystal?
Yes, sir.
7.5, man.
Yes, sir.
With room for expansion.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No. 7.5. That's the ABV. That's the alcohol. My rating is 6.5.
Oh, okay.
But that's the thing about IPAs, though. The rates typically don't go up after time once it starts getting warmer. Probably the max I'm gonna be at right now. So
yeah, they don't get better.
No.
Yeah. Now that
unless you drink it Dogfish Head 120.
Yeah, that's different.
Now that we didn't got the ratings out the way, let's talk about this super event that happened last night. The Pistons.
All right, I'll see y'all later.
The Detroit basketball Pistons got the first overall pick in 50 years.
Why you gotta say
Detroit basketball?
Who was the last one?
Because the cream will rise to the top.
Exactly.
Oh man.
Who was the last first round overall pick for the Pistons?
Dave Bing.
Dave Bing?
I don't know. That was a shot in the dark. I thought you knew.
I'm asking.
Bob Lanier, maybe.
Yeah,
Let me look at that. Let me look it up.
It's been about where did Isaiah come in at?
In the late 70s, early 80s?
Yeah, Isaiah came out in 70. No, it came out in 80, 79 or 81. 81. I think it came out in 81.
Yeah, because 81. That's about it. I was just wondering, what was he drafted?
It was Bob Lanier.
Okay.
Bob Lanier?
From St. Bonaventure.
Yep, that's where. Yep.
Oh, okay.
Yep, he was a center.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the last one.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, Dude, it's been forever, and it's something. It's nice to see the city get it because I know for what was it? The Pistons have been in this position a few times, get number one pick, didn't get it. I also know the city of Detroit has been in the position to get number one picks for several sports and didn't get them. Like what was it? Just the last hockey draft, they were like the Red Wings supposed to get number one overall pick, and they failed to like number 7 or 8. Devastating. But for Rockets fans, I mean, I care about hockey when the Red Wings are good. That's the only time I care about it.
That's the only time I watch.
And Pop, to answer your question, Isaiah was in the first round. He was the second overall pick.
Second pick. That's right. Second pick. That's right.
Oh wow! I didn't realize he was
thinking third pick. I thought he
was who was the second overall?
Isaiah Thomas.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Yep. I was thinking third. I was thinking third.
I know. He put Detroit on the map.
So did. Yes, he did. Isaiah's the best point guard in my opinion ever. I don't care what nobody said. They can throw up all these other numbers. Forget it, man. Isaiah is one of the few people that made me in my house, in my living room, jump up and run around with my head cut off.
Yeah.
Hey, that's a little hometown spirit because ain't nobody picking Isaiah over Magic Johnson, but.
Hey, I'm gonna tell you right now. I'm gonna always be a Magic Johnson fan. But the reason why I give Isaiah all the credit is because Isaiah's size. Isaiah was undersized. See, Isaiah was really 5'11". He's not 6 foot, 6'1". Magic had a gift of God being 6'8", 6'9".
Yeah, right.
So Magic had the advantage regardless. But Isaiah was always looked over because he was short. But Isaiah just had that. He had that. That will and that drive, that warrior mentality that you can't beat. And remember, Isaiah beat Jordan, Magic, and Bird. Undersized.
He has more wins against them than losses.
Yeah,
I think he's the only dude from the era that has that.
Yep, because everybody else they like that 6'6", 6'7" point guard. They love that point guard. They got the long arms and tall, lengthy guy who can do it all. Man, look. If you get an undersized guy like Isaiah who can do it all, and at the same time go back and play defense against those guys, hey, that's a special guy. Hey,
so you're a Trae Young fan?
No, I'm not.
Oh, you just abandoned your undersized argument.
Trae Young is good. Don't get me wrong. I like Trae Young. I kind of look at Isaiah and Curry in the same type of mindset, but
scoring point guard.
Trae Young's almost there. He's almost there, though. He's almost there, but not quite.
Well, Trae Young is kind of in the same vein because, like, they're trying to paint him to be the villain in the NBA, and people hated Isaiah Thomas.
People hated Isaiah, but Isaiah did it through the mud, through the grit. See, Trae Young is like he coming up, like it's like he's doing it in a finesse way. In this new NBA, it's finesse. It's not like back in the day when they hand check, when they give you a forearm in your chest. And all that. Trae Young, they couldn't survive back in those days like that. Isaiah survived that. Got up, took an elbow from Carmelo. Dude gashed him up with 40 stitches, tried to take his eye out. Man, dude, people like Rick Mahorn body slammed Isaiah, choke slammed. Isaiah survived all that. Trae Young, they've been up pissing their pants if they try to jump with him.
No, you can't do that today. You can't do that today.
You get arrested for stuff like that.
You going to jail at the end.
Going to jail.
Rick Mahorn and Bill Laimbeer going to jail if they played today, buddy.
See, Isaiah, that's why I always say Isaiah is special in that way because he went through the trenches, getting elbowed, getting taken out. Yeah, he had to fight Tree Rollins. You know how big Tree Rollins was?
Tree Rollins, I ain't heard that name in so long.
Man, Isaiah had to fight Robert Parrish and all of them. He had to fight all those thugs, man. And he had to fight all of them. And then Isaiah not only had to fight them, but had to fight them going to the car in the parking lot because they waiting for him outside.
It was a different era.
Isaiah went through hell, man.
Yeah.
It was definitely a different era.
Well, Isaiah would take it to the hoop.
Yeah.
They knocked him on his butt and he come right back again.
No fear. He never missed no games. Isaiah didn't miss no games. Isaiah didn't game. He didn't do the low management stuff they do now. Isaiah played every game.
That probably, to be devil's advocate here, that probably shortened his career because then he only played like 11, 12 years.
It did shorten his career. It did.
Because like I remember near the end, when we were watching the what was it? The Bad Boys documentary. Like he talked about like near the end, like he just couldn't do it anymore. Like it was like his body wasn't. It was like because it's anything. You can always work out, but once you got wear and tear, you can't outwork wear and tear.
Exactly.
Like, you got to replace something, but like after a while, time catches up.
Mm-hmm.
And like he got his championships though. He got the back. He put the city on his back. And it's interesting because he's a Chicago kid. Put Detroit on his back and then beat the Bulls. We just beat them down. So that's interesting to think about. But I mean, it is the reason why I wanted to talk about the Pistons overall pick, because I mean it's a lot of things that could change for the whole city and the surrounding area if this pick goes well. Because the Pistons franchise is stationed right now in a good spot. Detroit's on the come up. Detroit's actually a large market area, and they get a good pick and they start winning. We're talking about financial growth in the city that, like I said, that may or may not actually benefit the residents in a positive way. So I mean, but there's sides there.
What's his name? Cunningham, which I had to look him up. I didn't know he was 6'8". That's dope. But like if he come in and he's actually a star, I can see the city gaining, some increased economic interest and rise in that way. But it's just going to accelerate the gentrification process that's already happening anyway. Right? The taxes go rise. Say, y'all know the playbook. Taxes go rise. They go get moved out. Black folks go get priced out of the area. Just at a more accelerated rate. So it's like it's a good thing. It's a gift and a curse. It's like you asking for it, but you can already go downtown and see white folks that took over.
Yeah. So. But now I gotta sound like Grandpa right now. We're aware of how these things work. And some of us have some ability to be a part of the money making side of this. Mm-hmm. There's a little bit of incremental change.
Now you're talking. You kind of
go ahead, Bob.
No, I just said sharing the spoils. Well, this time you get a little taste of it,
We gotta take the spoils this time, because if we're aware of how the playbook is, we can know how to operate. But I mean, say what you're gonna say, Pooh Bear, because I know you're about to drop some dimes.
Well, yeah, just I appreciate the incremental change piece, and people taking a part in it. But the problem is, what is that? 3% of the population. 4% of the black population gonna have any type of money or opportunity to even take part in it, and then the other 95, or okay, let's say 10% of the population participates, because regardless of how we act and how we spend money, the vast majority of us is broke as hell. And so this incremental change discussion is cute, but only the top 10% is gonna be able to play a piece in it. The rest gonna get pushed out and priced out of the market like the same old shit.
Yeah.
I don't know. The top 10%, that's good. That's where it's always been. Remember?
No, that's good. That's good for those individuals. That ain't got nothing to do with the vast majority of the population that's broke and struggling. Because Oprah Winfrey and LeBron James got a shit ton of money in their pocket, what the hell is that doing for the person down the street about to lose their home? It ain't doing nothing. Like, it's cool for them too, but it's like, what about everybody else? Like, it ain't like they out exactly sharing all of their money, which they shouldn't. They shouldn't have to either. I don't feel like I ain't trying to shame them for being successful.
The way you're saying it, you're talking about ain't gonna be no. When I speak of change, you're talking about the way things is, and I'm talking about the way things can be. With that change, because we moving. Like I said, there's a lot of money involved in different business and things, but the money ain't surface. You're gonna find out we might be more than that. We might be 5% to the 3%.
But that still ain't doing nothing for us. That's my point. Is the vast majority, the wealth gap is just widening. So these individuals get richer. It's not the rising tide raises all boats is bullshit. And inside the black community is bullshit too. So this small sector, the majority, is making more and more money, but the vast majority of the people is losing, is going down. Their value is going down, down, down. It's not crossing the chasm. Like, that's what I'm getting.
Hey, I agree with you. I can see your point on that, because when I went down to Detroit a couple of times at the airport, sometimes I go down and, pick up my mother-in-law or pick up my cousins and all them. And then I look at Detroit airport and I see a lot of Asian language on the wall. Like it'd be like in language for us. They have American version of the language of what directions where to go to in the airport. Then they have the Asian language. They have the Japanese, Korean language. Then they have the Hispanic language over there. And I'm like, what the hell? Then every gas station from Detroit on up back to Flint, I say about 95% to almost, I say, but from 75 to 95% ownership either go to the Arab or they go to the Asian, some Korean person own the gas station. About 3% of us even sniff the gas as far as profit off the gas stations, not to mention all the property as far as hair salons, the business and all around. Nobody black owned anything, especially in the city of Detroit. Detroit is mega black, and Flint black. On up Saginaw, on through Lansing, on through all that. All the black towns have been iced out as far as from within, and that's it's not just by accident. That's been a doggone plot from day one.
You know what, Keith? Speak on something you told me a while back about. You said about the water situation out there in Flint. You said something.
Yeah, the water situation. I'll tell you right now, it's like all it is that they want Flint to be a college town. They want Flint to be a college town. They got U of M Flint. We got Mott Community College, and we got also Kettering. Kettering is like that's the General Motors College for the eggheads, and so therefore what they do is that they want to move that all out. They want to make it a big old campus. So now what they're doing is since 2008 on up until now, what they did was they had structured arson. They burnt houses down structurally. Now just think about it. When a house burned down, sometimes that house will spread to the next house and spread to the next house, spread to the next house. No, these houses were they were burnt in the one spot, and they never spread it. And it was never no like a cold river for the whole neighborhood to evacuate. These houses were burnt down. Now that's one version. Then they kept happening on and off. Then all of a sudden, crime picked up. All of a sudden, then these crooked councilmen got in the office. Then more and more, it was to be a rule that if you got a prison sentence or put some type of prison type of record, and you can't run for nothing. All of a sudden, the Flint City Council have nothing but ex-criminals on the council.
Whoa! You're saying with definite certainty that the Flint City Council has criminals sitting on the board?
Yeah, Eric Mays.
Okay,
Eric Mays. We had one cat. He got voted out, but I forgot his name. It was Chantez. I can't pronounce his name, but he was there. He was a murderer. He was an ex-murderer. Dude had a murder rap on him. He served almost 20 years in prison, and came out and won the election as a council.
So you're saying people who make decisions for the city, who can block people? Because I've heard a few different people say that they've offered to replace all the pipes and everything in Flint, and the people who make decisions on it are ex-criminals, right?
Yeah. And guess what? The deal has not been sealed yet on getting the water stuff situated, taken care of. Because you know why? Because now the debate is about who's gonna pay the lawyer fee.
So all this is they have the means to do it.
We got the money, but they talking about now. Everybody want to get their hands in the money now. Everybody want to get their percentage out. Everybody want to get their these lawyers who are in the court cases right now, they want to get their money. The city, they charge they're going to charge everybody about the fix. These contractors got to get money, get paid to fix the pipe, and at the same time, you got to pay the people who's in charge now.
So when did this all begin? Like, was it 10 years ago?
Almost? It was almost 10 years ago, but actually, I'm telling you now, I think it started in 2008 when they were trying to get everybody out for us the neighborhoods. They try to push all the homeless people out, all the people that's like in that pay scale, that low pay scale. They try to push them all out. But through, like I said, through arson. Arson was one thing, setting fires to these houses was one thing, and then getting rid of, then he come the water poison. Now the water poisoning came through because of Governor Snyder. But see, everybody want to blame what's her name? The lady that was governor before. What's her name?
Granholm.
Yeah, they want to blame Granholm, but see, that stuff happened on the tail end of Granholm, not then. But see, what it was is that the conservatives run the doggone state bill. They run the state. They run that. But like I said, that city council, they okay the state. Flint was under state emergency. So the city council didn't have no doggone say in nothing. When you're under state emergency, you don't have no say. It strictly comes from the government. And it comes from the government that appoint the people that come into that city to try to so-called save our community.
So when you say that, so like what is it still under state of emergency or like what?
No, we out of it now. But the thing is though, everybody playing catch up. And all the information that's been not, that got something to do with the poison of Flint, it's still under investigation. Snyder's not in jail. The people that did that, they are not in jail. They have not even had an election. They haven't had a criminal court case yet for them.
So what does this mean for the people who live there still? Like, what are their options?
They are dying slowly.
Wow.
You got lead poison.
Say that again.
They are dying slowly. You got people with Legionnaire's disease, lead poison, all that, and they still got scars off the water that's being if it's not got no filter to it, they still got the scars on them, the legion scars and all that on them right now, and it's killing the elderly. The elderly they are just dying. I mean they don't have a chance. Because they, especially in the city, in the senior citizen homes and everywhere else, they just, they getting that water, and they don't know where they're getting the water from. People got to bring in cases and cases of bottled water, still to this day.
What you just said is interesting because something like that is similarly happening in Inkster, because they've had to give Grandpa water filters for the past few years. Mm-hmm. The city does.
Yeah.
And Inkster is like, it's in the, I like to call it in the transition period. Because I see slow pockets of development happening.
Sorry.
It's slow pockets of development happening, but like it's still like a older family community. Like at this point, like people who live in Inkster now either were there forever or they're just starting to move in, right?
Right.
So it's like it's not like a little. It's either or. You either been here for 50 years and to this point, or you just you need a cheaper housing situation. And you moved to Inkster. Start your family.
Yeah.
And in the past few years, now Inkster water had problems years ago. I was a little boy, but they quote unquote fixed it. Now, mysteriously, from what I understand, now there's water issues again.
Yep.
And there's also water issues while they're trying to do development.
But see, it's not just Inkster. It's all black communities. It's been pointed at all black communities. Battle Creek, Benton Harbor going through it. Battle Creek going through it. Saginaw got it just as bad as we got it. I think Saginaw worse than we are. And then really? Pontiac. Remember now, Pontiac went through some crap too, and they still suffering right now. All the black townships.
I was about to say that all the black towns that you
all
named.
the black townships. Every black township is going through it. Now in Flint, Flint is the middle. Flint is the middle. I mean, you can't go nowhere from Detroit anywhere around unless you go past through Flint somehow, some way. But now check this out. Not only Flint, but now think about the townships outside of Flint, the subdivisions. Like I live out in Mount Morris. I'm outside of Flint. I live in Mount Morris. There's one called Fletcher. There's Grand Blanc. There's Davidson. I mean, on up, and that, all around those are townships, and they're all white. And guess what? All those Myers, Pizza Hut, all the places that we had in Flint, they moved out to the Davidson area and Grand Blanc area. They moved out there. it's been pushed. It's like Flint is it's like a donut, and Flint is in the middle, and nothing exists in Flint. We gotta drive. People gotta drive outside to go to a doctor's appointment. People had to drive outside to go to COVID, get their COVID stuff, to get taken care of COVID. People had to drive or catch a city bus or catch your ride. Instead of what we used to have around the block in walking distance, we don't have it no more.
No.
Wow.
And that goes because Flint is broke. Everything is broke. At the same time, the best mechanics are gone. The best mechanics are gone. Everything. If we want for Flint Assembly plant, the General Motors Flint Assembly plant, and the V8 engine plant, Flint would right now be a ghost town. And they got to come here to go to work, and they hate coming here to go to work. They hate it. They try to best to find a nice area around there where they can move out. They're trying right now. They're looking for one right now.
Who is they?
The people, the General Motors. General Motors trying right now to get up out of there. General Motors was one of the first people that reported the water poisoning, the water situation. You want to know why they reported the water poisoning?
Why?
Because the plant manager complained and said, "Don't waste washing our vehicles on that bad water."
Yeah.
That's how everybody started investigating the bad water situation. Because not because of our black lives, not because of our lives, not because of our well-being. It's because they weren't worried about the vehicles. Because it was tearing the paint off.
Wow.
So water is that bad? It was tearing the paint off for washing cars.
They worried about paint getting washed. They said this thing is just as bad as paint thinner. Paint thinner.
Wow.
And people have been drinking this for how long?
Been drinking it. You know what? Everybody want to date it back to 2010 and 2014. I didn't go back longer than that.
Oh, it has to.
It has to. But see, like I said, and we all as black people, we the last one to realize that we in war. We the last people to understand that there's a war against us.
I don't know what else gotta happen to you before you realize.
Exactly.
Shit.
We are the last ones. We are the last one to understand that.
I know that General Motors did expose it. General Motors couldn't use the water, but we drinking the water.
Yeah.
They quit taking water from the Flint River and went back to getting the water from the lake, like it's been doing. General Motors did.
But
and the public was still drinking that Flint water.
Mm-hmm. And then see what happened. I'm telling you now, you go into the Flint water. There's a history in Flint water. We all know this. For the dead bodies, there are body parts in those waters. There's old vehicles in those waters. All that stuff. I'm just bring that up. I ain't mentioned the fish that's been contaminated. The one and people are still trying to fish in the water right now. How you gonna try to fish in this water?
That's disgusting.
It's actually impressive the fish can still be alive in that water.
Yeah, but do you want to eat that fish?
No,
An incident occurred down there in Huntsville, Alabama, the Redstone Arsenal. Downriver from the Redstone, where they were dumping the water, polluted water into the river. People downstream were dying of cancer, and they couldn't figure out why.
Right.
And the majority of people downstream from was all black people, and they dying from eating the fish. They fishing out of the doggone water.
Yes. You're right.
We experienced this all over,
Yeah, it's all over the place. But at the same time, I told everybody we're last to know that we're on war, and they want us dead. They don't want us around, and this is the way to do it. And now I didn't mention the public schools, the elementary schools, the kindergartens who walk past that water faucet. Everybody in line get their little water before they go to class. So they were in line to get that poison.
Wait, they still allow water fountains to be used in these schools?
Not anymore, but back then, during that time.
Oh, okay.
So you up here wondering, and then they're gonna say that I got a cure for little Johnny or little Muhammad's bad behavior. I give him this little Respirdol pill, or I give him this ADHD pill, and all that. Little do they know he's a kid. Kid's gonna be hyper and run around. So therefore, a black kid can't be hyper and be a normal black kid. He gotta get doped up from Xanax or some Respirdol or some other Ritalin, whatever type of pill it is to calm him down. Then they wonder why the kids all of a sudden now is a crackhead, like a crackhead baby.
Do you think
I missed some? What was that, Freddie? You was showing? I didn't.
He was talking about them doping up our children, ADHD and all of that. It's a book by Michael Porter called "Kill Them Before They Grow."
Yep, kill them.
Kill them before they grow. So the misdiagnosis of African American boys in classrooms. So they basically say he got mental problems. Let's get him on this dope, and
And all the kid doing is being. You got that one white kid who's acting a fool in the classroom. He's a child. He's just a kid. But that black kid, call police, dope him up, put him in handcuffs and put him under, behind this, all it's cold red when the black kid at the fool. And that black kid got to get suspended for at least a week. This is all this classwork and everything. Meanwhile, little white Johnny got to go. All you got to do is get a desk outside the classroom and finish his work.
Now, I got two things for that. No, the first thing I want to address is when you said earlier you work for a home for people who are troubled, right?
Yeah, not guilty with reasons of insanity. The NGRA.
Now, are these people from Flint too?
They're from all over. Some are from Saginaw, Jackson, Michigan. We had a couple from we had a mixed group, black and white. And you got I had this one guy named Larry. Okay. I'm sorry. I can't say no name. That's against the law. I can't say no name. But we had an older gentleman, and this older gentleman was in our group, and then we did a research on him because of the case management. We had to look at his files up. Well, guess what? This older gentleman mutilated his grandchild. Mutilated the grandchild, and he is now claiming that he has memory. He's dementia. He can't remember stuff.
Wow.
But meanwhile, his grandchild got mutilated. He mutilated the child, but he gonna claim that he's crazy and not giving reason to sanity because of dementia and mental issues.
That's wild. Like, I guess the other thing I want to touch on is when you said like they suspend kids for misbehaving essentially, but let some kids off. Now, what's interesting is for what I remember in school, I'm not sure if they changed this because I haven't been in high school or anything below college in a long time. But I think you get 10 or 12 days, regardless like if you're sick or suspended or not, before you get held back. So if you get an automatic 5-day suspension one time, you're already halfway there.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's something that they don't really talk about because I mean it's like it's literally like a situation where you get suspended for something that may or may not be it may not be that big of an issue. But now on the other side of it, now if you get sick, now if anything else happens the rest of the year, you're done. Like if you get late or an absence one time, you're already halfway there from having to repeat a grade. Or you need to take mandatory summer school, which is another way they get the money from the state because the more kids you get in your school at any given time, there's more money.
Yep. And then like now in Flint right now, Flint, Michigan, they lost all four high schools. Well, we have one big high school called Flint. One big high school in Flint now. We lost 3 high schools: Flint Northern, Flint Southwestern, Flint Northwestern. Flint Northwestern had Andre Rison, Glenn Rice, had them all over there. Flint Northern had Caleb, and on down we had Martine Cleves at Flint Northern, Robert Smith at Flint Northern, had them all down. Flint Central had Eric Turner, the great Eric Turner with Michigan. We had he had Terrence Green that went to DePaul. We had all kinds of legend stars out there. Now the schools is now done. The school got boarded up, got fenced around it because everybody tried to vandalize it. Now all these kids that's in Flint right now get pushed out to Grand Blanc, get pushed out to Davidson. Davidson and Grand Blanc was the whitest schools ever when I was growing up. White. And they community.
Say it again, Keith. What were they?
Huh? Yeah, was it brown, purple? Which one?
What was they again?
White.
Okay.
And then now all of a sudden we played Davidson. I never seen Davidson so dark in my life.
So I got a question for you. Are they being pushed out there, or parents sending their children out there?
They're getting pushed out there. They're getting pushed out there because with the
who's pushing them?
Because of the water crisis.
Okay.
And at the same time, and then not to mention the COVID, but see, and also what they saying, to these parents now is saying, I need to send my son somewhere where I think he can get the best education possible because they've been lied to, thinking that these white people going to take care of their black baby. But guess what? They're going to do to your black baby. They're going to send your black babies to the special ed class.
I don't think it's about them thinking that they're going to be taken care of. I think that it looks better on college applications to say they graduated from one school than another.
That too.
It's not about saying, oh, they're going to take care of this, my baby. If anything, the parents know they have to really be on hyper alert, because in the black schools, we tend to back off a little bit and lax, like, they're amongst their kind. And then once they go around the white schools, then knuckle up. So, but there is that concern of what the applications look like from one school to another. Pops, are you trying to say something? Pops, you muted. Well, I can't hear you.
Can you hear me?
Grandpa,
I saw Pops saying something. I couldn't hear anything. Okay. Were you saying something, Pops?
I didn't say anything, did I?
Oh, okay. That's why your mouth moving.
Oh.
All right.
That's the way I think.
Because from like, I deal with a couple of kids right now who's on the borderline. They kind of like, trying to get eligible and get their clearing house for NCAA to get cleared to play college sports when they done with a high school career. But what was always standing in their way is that they go back to their middle school. They're supposed to go back to ninth grade. They're supposed to start over ninth grade. Supposed to start over ninth grade no matter what happens. But they go back to the seventh grade and they look at their educational background of what they did in that test, or they look at them on their behavior. They say, why was, then they start throwing red flags up about why was that kid sent to this special ed class when the kid and everybody thought that wasn't special ed class, but in the reality that class was. So therefore, they're gonna look at that as a psychological situation, not so much for what the A's and B's and C's. They look at it as a psychological situation for why he gets suspended so many times. Why did he go to summer school so many times? Why he had to get put in ISS, which is in school suspension classroom. So therefore, they hold that against him, and then they want to see the development as he or she grows up. But then they look at it and they still say, well, how they want not only going to judge them through sports, but they want to know how can they withstand campus life. See, this is how they get monitored. And then these college campuses, they out there, they're really sending private investigators after these kids and monitoring them from day one.
So how do you know this particular thing? That's a big accusation you're saying.
They did it with a couple of kids that I can't say their name, but you can pretty much imagine the superstardom for what they're doing now to back then when they was kids. You can imagine that. But what they do was that they send they'll go out and they'll call the guidance counselor. The guidance counselor is like a private investigator. They'll call the guidance counselor up and then they try to get some information in privy to what's going on because they're interested in this kid. They got to invest in this kid. So they want to know all the information on that kid that they can get. And not only the kid, but they want to investigate the parents as well.
And you learn this while coaching and trying to help.
Yeah. Because one time when Nick Saban was in Michigan State, and Nick Saban was at the one particular recruit. Nick Saban, me and him had a brief conversation. And I told him the kid's good kid, this and that. Then he asked me one question. He said, what happened on this date, that date, and that year? And I'm like, how did he know that? And I couldn't lie. You can't lie. Because they already know the answer. But the thing is, how did he know that?
So are you saying that at least from where you worked at and worked with people in Flint, that these guidance counselors perhaps aren't necessarily guiding children to a betterment of their lives? They're just there to keep tabs on these people.
That's all they're doing is keeping tabs, and then they use the kids for money because they know they got that head count. The head count in each class, in each school is very important when they do the head count. because that's grant money. That's money coming to the school. So they gotta make sure that the black kids and as far as the number of kids in that school, and then they got a bigger number than they had in the years before. They're showing improvement. They're showing progress. So therefore they get rewarded money from the state or the federal money.
Okay.
So therefore, like Grand Blanc, their numbers jumped up from close to 900 to 1,000. Their numbers are now 3,000. 3,000 at Grand Blanc right now.
Bless you.
No, that's incredible, and I mean, this makes me think about why it's important. I mean, I appreciate what my uncle do because hearing these stories, like, what do y'all think about this? I mean, especially with how you guys like teach kids math and everything, and like our history. Uncle Poole and Chris.
I mean, it don't shock me because I don't trust the system, so I'm not asleep or it don't shock me at all. Like the first time I was exposed to it was in college when we had a couple of NFL ready players, and the level of research that they were doing on the college campus around them, like they were talking to everybody. So I seen it on that level, and knowing the evolution of the money that is that is flooded into collegiate sports. And like you talked about the investment that they're making, literally bringing these children in, it makes sense because these universities, I mean, they're multi-billion-dollar operations. They got the resources to invest to go find. I mean, hell, it's just a couple of private investigators, right? That ain't even no resource if you're gonna be investing in a talent that can take your team from mediocrity into a 7, 8, 9 figure TV deal, right? Like, so when you think about that, yeah, I can only imagine, because just the level of the recruiting that's going on today compared to what it was 20, 30 years ago when I was participating is mind boggling.
Yes.
I mean, I can't even believe it. I mean, to even pretend that these kids aren't professional athletes is a joke at this point, because you can just see the investment that they're making to recruit them. It just shows you the type of money that they're making. And so it is an investment. And if you're going to get a poor character kid coming to your campus, poisoning your locker room, bringing that nonsense to the campus, why not be preventative and stop that? So it makes sense, especially from a business perspective. I just know it ain't got the best interest of the student athlete at heart anyway. This all a money grab. So
it's all a money grab. It's all a money grab. That's all it is. And at the same time, they using our kids, our black kids, as from not only now to this day, but back in the past, they use our kids to put money in their pocket to better their community. I never, you sit back and you see field turf over in Grand Blanc, Flint we still on grass. They got those big old machines that mark the football fields, and at the same time they got updated the technology as far as Wi-Fi's and all that in the stadiums now. Well, Flint, we still doing the old school way of doing things.
Mm-hmm.
We still need lemonade stands. Meanwhile, they over there, they got doggone Subway. They're selling Subway sandwiches and selling the best top piece of stuff around. But we gotta do a walking taco.
I got two things. So, Auntie, I want to hear your opinion on it real quick if you have one before I give our last little topic before we guys wind down today.
What these schools doing with these athletes and the researchers?
What do you think about that? Like, especially like now that you did you know about any of this?
Yeah, because your uncle and I have had the discussion that he finally pulled over to his side with, like he was saying, with them basically being professional athletes. They're not paid like it, but they are. So with you all, the conversation today started with what Detroit is going to get. The city of Detroit is about to get due to last night's decision, right? Yeah. How is the city going to blow up? The same thing happens to these college campuses. To these school campuses, high school too. When they get these type of recruits, and that's why I asked, like, or they getting pushed out, or they're going for better opportunities. Because I know parents who have sent their children to other schools because they played sports and they want them to have more opportunity and da da da.
Right.
Same thing. These schools, whether it's high school, college, whatever, they're all benefiting from what these babies are doing. And as your uncle said, they're vetting them, and Keith said they're vetting them because they're about to put a whole bunch of money into it, whether they want you to know it or not. They are. And I mean, it's so crazy. Like, we do it so much. So when our son was in Notre Dame, anybody could go in and put money on their account, right? Like, as long as you have a student number, you can put money on the account. But there was a cap on how much you could spend. I think the cap was like $3,000 or something like that at a time. And I was like, who the heck sending a college kid $3,000?
Exactly.
But we know who it is, though.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so these schools put a lot of effort into these background things because they got a lot of background things going on that's going to pad some pockets. So I'm not surprised at all, and it happens at every level.
Mm-hmm.
At every level.
Now let's get into the final part of the talk. I want to wind it all together. Now we done talked about the draft and how it could be an economic boom for a city. We done talked about how these kids are being used as basically currency for these school districts and things, and for the colleges. Let's talk about what just got passed. The federal government.
Nephew, you about to send your uncle off. Don't do it.
Let me do it because we're gonna wind up the show with this. So now that the Supreme Court then basically unanimously said, which almost never happens for nothing, like, do you like air? It'd be 8-1. 9-0 said that the NCAA is full of shit and that these kids can get paid. After everything we talked about today, what does that mean? And Uncle Pooh Bear, how much eligibility you got left? Because you can still run a 4.4.
Man, I get out here and give it a go, boy. For them checks, they gonna have to cut. I mean, it's about time. They gotta pay them boys, man. It's been bullshit all these years.
Exactly.
And don't tell me no damn college degree. They give me a free degree. That shit don't cost them nothing. That's a free seat in the space. They don't cost nothing. They already teaching 200 other students. That shit ain't doing nothing for nobody. Half of them don't graduate anyway because they have no emphasis on the education of the child because they don't give a damn. Just get your ass on the arena, out there in the court. Oh, well, if he failed 4 straight semesters, he gonna fail out of school. Well, that's 2 years of opportunity to get him out on this field, to get these ticket prices up. We're gonna sell his jersey, his likeness, selling their likeness to video games. They making trillions of dollars on the backs of these boys. It's about time they giving them some money, man. So I hope this is gonna be filed. And a lot of people not gonna like this, but I don't really give a damn. I hope they avoid that Title IX bullshit because they shouldn't have to cut the money equally. Because you ain't telling me women's soccer, they got 5 people in the stands is bringing in the same amount of attention and money as University of Michigan's football team. No, the whole goddamn campus runs because the University of Michigan football is a $1 billion organization by itself. And those students need that money more so than fucking subsidizing women's soccer or men's kickball or whatever the hell they talking about. It's got to be equal. It don't got to be equal. The ticket sales and the prices and the selling of their likenesses aren't equal. You're going to have to, if the softball team want to bring in more money, put more people in the stands and go get the money.
Let me piggyback off what you just said because you brought up women's soccer. Did you know that they ran the numbers and the top athletes who will benefit the most from this immediately would actually be women's sports?
Yeah.
Because individually, women's sports athletes in college, at least, unless you're like an elite male athlete, like a Zion or something, have more Instagram followers. And that, so Andre, let me ask you this part of it. Now that kids get paid, are we like? Let's talk about the really dark side of this. Because when you say women are they're going to get the most paid, even though their sports are the most viewed.
I didn't mean women. I just meant the obscure sports.
I'm tying this point together. What I'm saying is, they're saying most women athletes will get it because they're projected because of how they look. So is this depending on how they're gonna regulate this? So it's actually about sports and not about sexual exploitation. Because what's the difference between an Instagram model in college?
Good point.
Instagram model just out here. because depending on who's paying you for what type of thing, it can be construed as something that's illegal versus someone putting money on your books for shoes or something else.
That's interesting. How it's going to shake out. I'm not really sure. What the details are going to be. But to me, if you're a professional, you can get paid however the hell you want to get paid. Whoever want to pay you, pay up. I'm an advocate for the athlete taking all the money, not some of it, not a piece of it, all the money. Nobody should be making money off their likeness, but them. And if the women can make money on Instagram being an influencer because they got a sports figure and body or whatever, and that's what they want to do, then let them live. But up until this point, this Title IX has been subsidizing white women, right, who have been really the ones that's been capturing the most from all of this. In them softball teams, ain't no black women playing no damn softball. That's on that tennis team, ain't no black women on that tennis team. On that ping pong team, on that golf team, all that is white people riding off the coats of black men and black women that are dominating their sports and drawing the eyeballs. And it's time to cut the check and cut it unequally.
Cut the check.
Cut that boy where it's supposed to go.
I did hear a lot, but I wanted to hear Auntie's views on this.
Yeah, you got me fired up.
Auntie, what do you think about all that?
I mean, we've had that discussion. Yes and no. I'm gonna leave it at that.
No, speak on it. Uncle Pooper said his filibuster. You got to drop some dimes on it.
Yeah.
If you need to, get the trophy if it makes you feel more comfortable.
You see him missing my baby. I'm missing my baby. But no,
Grandpa snuck in the house and stole it. He's like, it's behind him right now.
All right. I get what he's saying. So our discussion, and that's what I'll call it, our discussion about the difference in wages as it comes to the sports. I get what he's saying. However, I do feel that part of the issue, because this thing is, they don't bring in as much money as everybody else. And I'm like, they don't bring in as much money as everybody else because they don't get as much marketing as everybody else. It'd be a little different. So, yeah, that's what I say. I get what he's saying, where you like cut it where the money goes. But I do think I'm okay with that. But I do think that there needs to be a bigger discussion had and more work done with making sure that all sports are equally promoted so that they can make as much money and bring in as much money as the other, so that the conversation isn't as much of button heads.
I agree with that to an extent because it adds because I mean, let's be honest, like Uncle Pooper is saying, the people who stand to benefit most of this are black people, because who are the best athletes at these schools? And it's no lie. The best athletes are black people. I mean, there's a reason why 70% of the NFL is black. There's a reason why 70%.
Oh, you're talking about that part. Okay, come on.
Huh?
Yeah.
It's the reason why at the highest levels of these sports, there's black people. Like hell, there was like what, 5 hockey dudes? Like that was a big thing on the news the other day. 5 hockey dudes on that one team at the same time. Like once we get our hooks in something, it's over.
Yeah. Oh, I was talking about the woman thing. I heard him talking about the woman.
The fastest person in the world right now is that girl from LSU. She ran 100 meters in like 10.5 seconds or something like that.
People gonna pay money to come and see her. So she should get more money than the white girl at the end of that didn't even make the track team or whatever it's on the practice team. She should get more money than her. If you're the draw, you should get the bucks. That's all I'm saying.
I will agree that he won me over on that with just the students overall getting paid. Yeah. Just the athletes getting paid more, because these schools, these organizations wouldn't have anything if the athletes got up and walked. Period. Point blank. Period.
Now he go to side business side of this on what's going to happen. Notice the foreigners. We keep forgetting the foreigners. We keep forgetting the people, the black foreigners and that not only from Africa, but remember now, Brazil. I'm gonna use that as an example. Everybody like Brazil, like they got beautiful women out there. They got beautiful women and shapely women, and they're gonna try to ship them to these colleges, especially the losing programs, so they can keep their money up, and watch how the uniforms become more revealing than before. You're gonna see softballs, blue shorts gonna ride up a little bit more around them genitalia, the butt in the you know what I mean?
Say genitalia?
He did say genitalia.
I'm sorry, but anyway, it's gonna roll. It's gonna rise up. It's gonna rise up. You're gonna see more revealing parts for his uniform. Not so much in track. You're gonna see it in track. You're gonna see it in softball.
Track has always been the way.
You're gonna see it all over, and you're gonna see because you know why? Because like your cousin said, he said that it's gonna be like they're gonna try to exploit the women, the body parts of the force. They're gonna look at the most attractive women.
Come try.
It's not gonna be about wins or losses. It's gonna be about the most beautiful women.
But it doesn't really change the fact that so it's like this now. There are beautiful women who are in college sports right now.
Yes.
And it doesn't change the fact that they don't have to dress that way if they don't want to. Like your uniform it's regulation stuff. Now, if they start changing laws where your regulation is different, that's a whole other discussion. But I'm saying I don't have a problem with them making money, how they're going to make money, because the same way with dudes, they're going to make money how they're going to make money. And like as long as you aren't like hurting people, actually kidnapping people, doing whatever wild stuff, I don't really have a problem with it. What I'm interested in is the fact that on radio yesterday, all I heard about before the draft came out, all I heard about was this when the Supreme Court ruled that they're going to allow kids to get paid, and all I heard was a bunch of people who didn't necessarily sound like they were melanated talk about what's going to happen to all these kids and all these other sports, because they know that who is going to benefit the most.
Look, you know what's going to happen to the most sports? Get that shit out of here. Maybe it's not a collegiate sport. It just needs to be a club sport that's not participate on the national level because it don't fund itself.
Here's my point. It's everyone wants to talk about communism when black people get the most benefit, but when it's capitalism every other time.
Good point. That's what I'm trying to say. Is that all of a sudden now, watch how the rules change. It's going to benefit. They're going to try to make it more wider it's going to try to make it more now for the game change. They're going to bring more foreigners into college now and for the sport.
Because and it's sad to say this, but foreign black people do not come with the same quote unquote baggage that American blacks do.
They don't
share our same history. They don't share our same values for the most part. And it's not like I'm saying these are bad people because I'm not saying they are because they're not. Yeah. They just grew up in a different place. So when you have someone from, I'm just going to say a random country, like say Kenya.
Don't say no country. I was about to say just.
You say because I don't want to say Africa because Africa's a continent. So say you get someone from Africa, okay, just quote unquote. They don't have the same history that we have, so they don't have to deal with the same baggage. So when someone says some type of slur or anything on the team or something slick, you're not going to have them calling whatever and such most of the time. Like now, if it was somebody from Kentucky, he was like, "You can't fly." Like I know what you're trying to do. I know what type of racial things you're trying to say about me. Or someone from St. Louis, or someone from Detroit, or or Inkster, or whatever. It's a whole different mentality, and it's just, I've got me on a tangent. It's like what's happening in the movie industry. You had the dude who played Fred Hampton. He's not from here.
No,
you got the lady who played Aretha Franklin. She's from Nigeria. Yep. You got all these people playing our roles from our historical figures from outside of America. When you got umpteen number of black people who've been actors for years getting these historical roles taken from them. I believe in one of the Martin Luther King movies, that dude was Nigerian.
He was.
So it's just what you're saying, Keith. They'll find a way when the money gets too big.
They're gonna find a way.
From here are starting to have too much of opinion because they get too much power. You're gonna see more and more.
Well, the problem with that is I see where y'all going, but the problem with that is one, in basketball, the NCAA got a real damn issue because them boys is ready at 18 years old to go straight to the NBA. The people that are blockbuster stars. So you can't replace that type of talent. I don't give a damn who you bring and where you bring them from. The highly talented people are going to go to, if they can't make the NBA, they're going to go overseas and they're going to play for a few years over there and get their money, and then they're going to come. You can't just import that level of talent. And then in football, this is where the NCAA still got them by the short and curlies because there's no developmental football league that you can just go to and participate in. So the star players are going to have a quandary, and I'm not really sure them 18-year-olds ready to go grapple with them grown-ass men. That's a whole different animal at that level. And external countries, even Africa, South America, nobody plays American football at that level. So you're not going to be able to import that type of talent to replace them if they could leave. So I still think that the NCAA is in trouble, and they're going to have to just pay them boys. Because you got to have a talent. And they're the only two damn programs that make money. Ain't nobody watching no damn college baseball. I don't care what nobody says. Ain't nobody watching track like that. Ain't nobody watching softball. Ain't nobody watching badminton, volleyball, swimming. Ain't none of them sports making money like football and basketball. And that's made off the backs of Black African Americans, period. Yep. So you're going to have to pay them appropriately or they out. The basketball, they in trouble because European market paying.
Well, I already know it's a few places. It's a few places in Michigan right now that me and Keith are aware of. They're already starting to pay people a certain amount. I'm not going to say what universities or what.
Hey, hats off
but we are aware of it.
Hats off to Ball. What's his name?
LeVar Ball.
LeVar Ball, because he started this shit. When he said, y'all come and play for me, I'm gonna pay you $100,000. He forced the NBA D-League to start paying more money. He was giving them boys $24,000 a year to play in the D-League. He said, I give you $100,000, you come rock with me. And he was going to shut them down. And they had to renegotiate everything. Shout out to him. He's the catalyst behind it.
Yes, he is. Yes, I totally agree there.
Yeah.
I totally agree.
But
good stuff. Dan, do you want to get in there? Look, I got fired up talking too much.
What do you think?
I'm all ears. I was just thinking about Kurt Flood when he was playing baseball, and how that free agency. What you used to be with time. If you played with a team, you couldn't go nowhere.
Yep, that's right.
But he opened it up with people making all this money now because they can sell their services. You don't have to stay with no one team for no 20 or 30 years unless, they could get rid of you, but you couldn't leave on your own.
Yes, exactly.
Good point. He didn't make no money out of it, but he sacrificed part of his career, but he opened the door.
Kurt Flood opened up the floodgates. Huh?
He did.
Yeah.
He actually did.
He really did.
But you know what? Because I actually got into a meeting like 15 minutes. But let's start. Let's get our final thoughts on this because this has been a great episode. I love the energy. We done got a lot of people. Auntie looks like I'm really.
No,
she wanted more Piston talk.
I don't really care about Detroit getting everyone picked on.
She wanted more #1 Detroit Piston talk. That's what she wanted.
She was upset about.
Well, don't you? Because Isaiah Washington was my boo back. I mean, Isaiah Thomas was my boo back in the day.
I was like the actor.
Right. But no, Isaiah Thomas. So I'm all in on Detroit. I'm down with Detroit. I rocks with Detroit. I rocks with it. But it's funny how when the conversation started, Pops was like, "What was the last #1 pick?" And Pooh guessed, but he guessed it right. And it was like just a conversation. How y'all know the most randomest things. But if I ask you your kid's birth weight, what time they was born, y'all don't know nothing. But y'all know all the sports for all the peoples. And it just cracks me up that men would know all of that stuff. No,
you're not lying. You're not lying.
You're not lying. Wives, if y'all gotta take the babies to the doctor, we gotta send notes. Like hand this to the doctor.
Baby's weight changes. Championship stay the
same. Birth weight stay the same too. Birth weights and birth time stay the same. But y'all can sit there and know all of that stuff. Yes, I'm just amazed at it. I'm just amazed. Keto ain't lying. That's why I can't stop laughing. If I ask right now, what time are your kids born? He don't know. He don't know.
You hit a nerve. there.
Yeah.
But y'all know what years everybody was drafted. You know what round they came in.
She might be trying to come in here.
I was listening to Keith drop the stats. I was like, why? Not how, but why does he know all this about all the people? It's just why.
You know every Beyonce song. Cut it out.
Don't even
whoever your favorite singer is.
I also know what our children were going to.
Well, you only got so much brain power. You gotta pick something,
This weight changes. Championship forever.
what the weight that they were when they were born does not change.
Do they know?
You know what I'm saying? Really, that's what we're gonna do.
I don't know. I don't remember my birth weight.
And you know what? I got counter that, Auntie, because women always say we birthed, like y'all, like I birthed the baby. Like women say I birthed the baby.
Don't do it. Don't do it, nephew.
When we see our teams win championships, we won that championship.
Don't do it, nephew.
It's inclusive. Winning championships.
Don't do it.
If I didn't eat those Kit Kats before the game, they would have lost it.
No.
Tradition.
There's so many idiosyncrasies in championships. Like I remember only wearing a certain pair of shoes that year we went to the Rose Bowl and won it. Like, you know, there's certain things you do to win. Anybody but us.
Pops, how does your act like this? This is your son, your grandson, and these are the things that they say. Why? Why? That's why I said I used to think it was Hank that was the ringleader. Pops, this is your doing. I said you the ringleader of all of this. You the ringleader. I bet you Naomi asked something. Shut up, Naomi. I don't care.
You know, I remember the wildest. This is even that bad, but I remember the wildest thing for me was for like a sports like strange thing that you do for tradition. Was one year I realized like I would drink scotch every game. In one game I drank tequila and we lost. And I'm like, I never drank tequila during the game again. Like it was that bad. Like I only drink dark liquor during sporting events that I want to win. Like,
at least it was liquor, because typically men use sports and tradition as excuses to be nasty. I can't wash this jersey. I can't change my socks. You just being nasty. That ain't got to do with whether they're gonna win or not. You don't even want to take a shower anyway.
She's not a fan. She's not a fan, y'all. She don't understand.
You don't understand. You never won a championship. You never had the
No, I believe in traditions. There are certain things that I would do for certain events to set up the juju right. But I'm still gonna wash my clothes and my tail. Period.
I ain't never do nothing like that. I'm washing my clothes.
I wash my clothes, but I definitely remember praying to the Lord and saying and making promises, things I would never do again in life if we just won this game.
So wait a minute, real quick, Pops, I've never known this about you. What team is your favorite team, period, for any sport? Like what was your diehard team that you followed no matter what?
That's a good question there. I'd say our favorite team was probably the Pistons. I followed them because they brought a championship. They put Detroit on the map. Prior to that, we had some good basketball, but we never had a contention for the NBA championship or nothing.
Okay.
But Isaiah.
So yeah, my stepdad, but he was a diehard Pistons fan too. He brought
the son might have you with it too. Freddie, can you remember when John Sally was over there to Taylor School and you was out there dribbling, you know?
Yeah.
You thought and he said something about you got some NBA aspirations, huh?
You met John Sally, babe?
Yeah.
I just said they're like, I just said like, you met John Sally?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
He didn't know I was gonna be short.
Your height, yeah.
I'm about to say he didn't know I was gonna be short.
Back at that time, there was a whole lot of people came out of Detroit, like my boy from Southwestern. You know what I'm talking about?
Chris Webber.
I took you to South. Chris Webber came out of the private school.
Jalen Rose.
Jalen Rose.
Jalen Rose.
We saw the Jalen Rose championship. We went and saw the Chris Webber championship.
Yeah.
That particular year, because they had a whole lot of talent. Because in fact, out of high school, one went to Minnesota. I can't remember his name, but they had quite a bit of talent come out of high school, you know, to go in, into the colleges.
Yeah. I remember.
I'm sitting here judging y'all because y'all even know these grown men's high schools. Y'all know these grown men's high schools.
They here in Michigan.
I don't care. Keith, I'm gonna call your wife. I heard you say, what's her name? Tanya.
Yeah.
I'm gonna call her. I'm like, girl, you need to quizzing him. And I'm gonna call my niece. I'm like,
she quizzes me every day. She with me every day. When we have a conversation, she said, what I just say? What I just say? I'm like this, huh?
But y'all know the high schools. Y'all are so funny.
It's real,
Hey,
man.
I call it the Al Bundy syndrome.
Very true.
Oh man. Well, let's give our final thoughts today. We don't went way over time, but it's cool.
Okay.
Grandpa, oh no, you know what? Grandpa, go first today. What's your final thought?
My final thought, I'm gonna leave it up to Freddie then. I'm giving my minute. I'm transferring my minutes over to him. Tell him what's your final thoughts?
Like it's an account. All right.
Like it's an account.
That's his Bitcoin. That's his cash out.
I yield my time to Brother Taylor. My final thoughts are go Pistons, go. We back, baby. Let's go, man. I'm back now. I'm watching every minute of the NBA. I was fair weather for a minute, but I've been always rooting for the Pistons in the background. I'm excited for all of that, man. I'm excited for the college athletes to get some money finally. Hopefully this is retroactive so I can get my bucks. I'll take $500.
Carbondale wasn't making no money off y'all. Carbondale wasn't making no money off y'all, baby.
Shit, we dedicated to that game. We played Missouri, University of Missouri. We went down there. The school got $300,000 for us to get our ass whooped. I'm gonna need a cut of that money, man.
Yo, Uncle Boo, if y'all
what did you guys get when you went down there to the Ole Miss?
Yeah, Ole Miss. I said Ole Miss, $300,000. They got $300,000 in that game.
Oh, yeah?
We lost 52-3. It wasn't even a game, brother. I got in the game. I was a freshman. I played two plays for 5 yards at the end of the game. And they got $300,000 for that game. I'm taking give me $500. I call it even. Shit. I ain't even gonna charge you no inflation. Like shit.
What's your final thoughts today?
Hey,
down there,
go ahead.
Down there at Ole Miss, I was a little uneasy because it was dark, Going back over into the university, couldn't hardly see nothing, Ole Miss got a rip.
Sundown town. But
you weren't satisfied until you got back in your car and got out of there. That was the day, we got back in the 80s, right?
90s.
Back in the 80s.
Yeah, 90s. I ain't that old.
90s.
Close enough.
What were you going to say, Auntie? What was your final thought?
Final thought. This beer actually held through the whole time, but still was solid. I may have enjoyed it a little bit more at the end. So I'll go to 6.75. Go against what I typically say. My final thought is that I will continue to judge men for y'all love and not caring about your families, because he remember the scores of all the games and everything. But if I ask him, he didn't even remember my maiden name.
First of all, I ain't never lost 52-3 in my life. I'll never forget that. It was a traumatic experience.
But you're wrong. We do remember our families. They also come with championships. But
you know what though? I'm gonna revert back to your high school days. Y'all should have had one state championship. Y'all should have had 3.
Yeah.
And you know the reason why you didn't get the 3.
I know it.
Well, actually, Joe, he might have been playing. He might have known because he was coaching back then. What school did you go to, Uncle Pooh?
Detroit Catholic Central.
Yeah, Uncle Poober was Uncle Poober. What year did you win the state championship?
92.
92.
Okay.
Yeah, we should have won in 91. They wouldn't. I was a sophomore. They wouldn't let me play on the varsity team though. That's what Dad referred to.
Didn't Braylon Edwards go there?
Nah, Braylon went to. He was a little after me, but he went to. I think was it the Poors?
Who was that?
Braylon Edwards. He went to Michigan. The receiver went to Michigan.
No, his father went to Detroit. I think his father went there. Detroit.
Oh, okay. Maybe he did.
Yeah, I think his father went there.
Yeah.
Well, Keith, what's your final thoughts so we can wrap up the show?
Hey man, I appreciate this. You got a beautiful family, and I love it, man. I enjoy this. It's like sitting in the backyard in the patio, sitting there chilling. I didn't even know we were still online, but I enjoy it. This is good. This is real good. You got a good thing going here, Chong. You got a good family, man.
Well, you're always welcome back. You know, you are a consultant of Flint and Flint-related activities.
Okay. I'll keep you posted.
And I gotta say, usually I call everybody nephew when they bring them in, but you gotta be cousin. You cousin.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you what Hank told me. That's Sean's uncle, Pooh's brother, Pop's son. I'm gonna tell you what Hank told me. I think the first time I came to visit, when your uncle was just lucky enough to date me. He told me, he said, you like that, Pops? You like that, Pops?
Oh, yeah. Nothing some luck,
Hank said, your family must be crazy as heck because you ain't concerned by nothing that's going on in this family. And I said, doggone right, this ain't nothing to me. So I'm saying that to you, that your family must be wild hunted.
Oh, most definitely. Most definitely.
Look at my beautiful niece. Hey, niece.
Yeah.
Jackie, go ahead and you wearing your Perry around the house. You are such a Neo.
I've worn pink and green since June 5th. Every day.
I love it. Congratulations, niece.
All this gang paraphernalia is bringing our property value.
I can't trip with all the Delta stuff I got all everywhere. So yeah.
That's it, y'all. Thank you. That's another week, episode 101.
You got purple and gold walls, boy. Look at your home.
But love you guys. We'll see you next week. Keep you always invited to come back.
Okay, thanks a lot. I appreciate it.
Good to have you, brother.
Love y'all.
Peace.